Welcome everybody to In Conversation with Lisa Rose. Today's guest is Flora Sage, the author of The 1 Degree Shift, Discover the Simplicity of Lasting Change. And I've known Flora for, I think, 12 years now. We know each other. But for the last 20 years, Flora has been supporting women through personal, spiritual, and business transformations. And that's her hub. She's an expert at that. And so today we're going to talk about the book. So I want to talk about money. I want to talk about the energy of money specifically. And, when I first started my healing arts business, I was as you know, I was an art dealer for 25 years. I was in the art business, had a successful career in that, and it was great. And then I felt the calling to go into the healing arts. And when I did, because I was a newbie, and it's an intangible, right? Transformation is an intangible. Yep. So I didn't know what to charge for services. And so I decided that, I was just going to try to get clients, and I would tell them that they could pay me whatever they felt reflected the value of the service that they were receiving from me. And then I said to them, don't try to get away with the cheapest amount of money that you can get away with here. This isn't the point, because money's energy. Right. You decide the value that it had for you, and that's the number. You give it a numerical value. And obviously, and you talk about this in your book, you get someone trading a paper clip for a banana, trading the banana for a blanket, for a lamp, for whatever, until they finally get a car or something. That's great. It's really great to show, how things have different value, right? Yeah. Different people in different situations. Well, the funny thing was, when I did that, I made more money than I would have had I billed them at the number that I was thinking my value was at.
Nice.
So for me, the asking what is the value for them, and observing it and witnessing, and then, by the way, accepting it, believing that I brought that kind of value to the service and to the client, and then I was able to put a number on it, because eventually you have to put a number on it somewhere at some point, because people are more comfortable with the number. But it was a great lesson in the exchange of value, and money is energy. I know that you're also a financial planner. You got certified in financial planning too. So how do you think, I got a couple of questions. I think let me ask all three questions, because I think they're going to roll into one answer for you. Okay. How do you think of money as energy? Okay. The other is, what do you say to people who believe that, they're just not good with money, and they give up on ever having abundance, and they continue in their same pattern? And probably to that, we would say, what's the first step to take in creating more abundance, or to break that pattern?
It's energy. It's a tool, because back in the day it was, I'll give you this chicken for a wagon wheel. So the value for value exchange. And so then, of course, we graduated from that to, okay, I need someone to help plow my fields, but I'm not going to give you a chicken every single day. So instead, I'll give you 50 cents. Like, this is way back in the day. Okay, way back in the day. I'll give you 50 cents a day. And they're like, okay, cool. So they got that. And then with that, of course, they were able to buy the chicken and the eggs and whatever else. But so knowing, and our society has placed so much burden and so much attachment to the dollars and cents, to the money, that I think we have this warped view of money and value. And especially with intangibles, you can't see it. Like, this book was, I don't even know how much it was, like $12 or something on Amazon or, Barnes and Noble. So I pay $12. I get this book. I can see it. I can feel it. I can read it 1,000 times if I want to, set it down. I can pass it on to my kids, whatever. However, the value that someone is going to get from this can be worthless if they don't apply it, and they're like, yeah, I read it, but whatever, But it could also be priceless if somebody takes what I've shared in here and they apply it, and sooner or later, somebody will stop them and say, what are you doing? You seem so happy, or you seem so content, or you seem so different, and you just seem lighter. And that is priceless, because even though it's an intangible, we can't see it on paper or physically hold it. you can see it in their eyes, in their energy, in how they conduct themselves, how they how they live. You know what I mean? And so the value for value exchange, and this is something, especially with my business clients, they're like, Flora, what should I charge? I'm like, what do you want to charge? And they're like, I mean, I can just pick a number. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And they're like, but I'm like, it's all energy. Like, and then also, you know, like one of the things that I also share too is when you do a set, so just pick an arbitrary number, whatever that number, just pick one. And then do the service, whatever that service is. Do you feel drained? Do you feel zapped? Do you feel resentful? Like any negative, heavy energies, that tells me it's not an even energy exchange.
Correct.
So raise your price a little bit and then do the service again. Does it feel even? You're going to know when that energy is even because you feel neutral, like you know, have that person on your table and you're doing Reiki and you're doing all the things, or you have them on the phone and you're doing your thing. You get off the phone or they leave and you feel neutral, or you feel like excited and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe I get to do this. Then you've set the perfect price point, because it is that even energy exchange. And also too, is that people will come back, as you know, they'll come back and they'll want more. They're like, you're amazing. I want another session with you. And I want whatever, because it's just so, and that's what we should be chasing, that intangible. I truly think we should be chasing the intangible, those things that just light you up. And if you have a service with someone and you pay them $20 the first time and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I can guarantee you're going to tip them or give them more money than what they're asking for, because you're like, here, just take all the money because you're so good. And it's like, you almost can't put a price on the intangible. I mean, it's, you almost can't put a price on it because it's literally life-changing. When you do Reiki on someone, or when you give someone a tool and they use it, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, my whole life is better. My whole life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when you're in alignment with the client, when you're in service to the people that you service the best, you know, that's one of the things I always ask for every day in my spiritual practice. Bring me the people that I can best serve. You know, they value that they get is exponential. It's beyond what it was that they had paid. You know, that's just, it's almost like the pay is the entry point where they're committing to the change in themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So then you just, you're the delivery person, you help them along the way. Yeah.
And
so
like,
what about
my fees for coaching is, it's not dollar per hour. I mean, I do have single hour long sessions that people can buy, but I prefer to do unlimited. So if you want unlimited, go to my coaching page, sign up, and you literally have that 24/7 access. It's a container. Essentially, you are paying a retainer to have access to my work and my space.
And to your time, your time, your knowledge, your expertise, your resources.
Yep, exactly.
Your ability to take them over the bridge of transformation.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into that with the number that they're seeing. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And for years, I did not put my prices on my website, because it's like, oh my God, you charge that much, or oh my God, you charge that much. So it's like, you can literally get like both sides of the coin, where somebody's saying, wow, that's outrageous. And other people are like, oh my God, you're like so cheap, or not cheap, but so affordable. And so set the price that just feels in alignment and just feels good for you. And then also too, is if you're looking for someone to get Reiki from, or to get teaching or coaching from, or mentorship or support, and you see a price that maybe is like, whoa, that's a lot. Is it really? Because you really, I mean, look at the result that you're going to get if you choose to do the work. And so are you going to do the work? Are you going to show up and bring forth the energy to be open and receptive to change and to shift your life in whatever way that looks like, with whomever you work with? Do you know what I mean?
And the money represents the energy of the person that's bringing, as I said, to their commitment. And sometimes even in Reiki circles, I only give Reiki for free because Reiki's free. I'm like, you got this all wrong. You know, I mean, yeah, maybe the energy is free, but your training, it's reflective of your training, your commitment, your expertise, your time, your ability to help somebody else transform.
Mhm.
And the value has to be equivalent,
Yes.
to what it is that you're receiving. If you're not charging the right amount, you start drawing to you people that you really can't serve. They're just looking for like a
Exactly.
little tiny quick hit of something, maybe. Or
Yep.
they come in and they expect you to give a bunch of free stuff because you were willing to do it at this. So being true to yourself includes that the pricing of your services.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
sometimes my prices go up, and sometimes they even go a little bit down. They don't usually go down because coming from the art business, I think of it differently. I don't discount, and everything starts at this price, and art always goes up. It never
Yep.
comes down. So I thought I like that business model. Then I
Yes.
don't have to worry about it. But like you, sometimes spirit will say, so instead, like just in the art business, if I would have an artist that would say to me, oh, this body of work, isn't selling, should I discount the price of the work? No, you can put that, we can use that for other purposes. Like, an auction comes along and you have a piece to donate, and then you're exchanging it for publicity and for presence and other things. Make a new body of work.
Right.
Make a brand new body of work. And then
Mhm.
you put a price on your new. So in our case, it would be a new offer, a new service for something slightly different. And
Right.
again, it's just reflective of what it is that we're providing. The transformation is what they're paying for.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's not even our intangible, it's their transformation. So
Did I answer all three of those questions? I apologize.
I only want to ask you one because I know that with financial planning, oftentimes you're dealing with people and their personal
Yes.
finance issues, and you know, um, and I hear this a lot. Oh, I'm just not good with money.
Oh,
I'm just
yes.
not good with money, Lisa.
Yeah.
So I've never been good with money.
Right.
And they're living not quite paycheck to paycheck, but pretty close.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
So, oh,
what do you
yeah, go
say to
ahead.
somebody that's, as a financial, and I'm asking that question because you deal with intuition, you deal with pattern changing, you're dealing with shifting. How could you, what suggestion could you make to somebody to encourage them to shift?
Mhm. Well, first of all, I would ask them, have you ever learned about money? Have you ever learned about how to manage it? Have you ever learned how to balance a checkbook? Oh my gosh, most people have no idea how to manage money because they never learned. They've never read a book, they've never been taught. They maybe took a class in high school that touched on, okay, this is a checkbook and this is how you balance it. Like, people just aren't taught about money.
That's
Now, some,
incredible.
I know, right?
Wow.
Some caregivers do teach their kids about, money and investing and all this. Some, nothing. My dad, his thing was spend half, save half until you're married and have kids. That was his like, spend half, save half. I'm like, well, that's easy. Okay, cool. And
That's
that
good
served me for
advice.
a time. Yeah, that served me for a time. But then once I got married, once I had kids, that kind of went out the window, and I'm like, okay, now what do I do? And I became a financial coach because I had no clue. Like, I really wasn't taught about money. So I'm like, if I want to get my shit together financially, I need to learn about money.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I had a lot of that training early on, even as a kid. Did you have a
Yeah,
lemonade stand when you were a kid?
I did.
Yeah, I had a lemonade stand, and here's the funny one. Me and a couple of my friends, we spent a week collecting stuff from the woods. Oh, Japanese beetles in a jar, tadpoles. We had a frog. Somebody had a baby rattlesnake, and we put this whole exhibit. It was a science exhibit. That's what it
Oh,
was.
I love it.
It was a science. So we had a science exhibit. And I lived in first stop out of Philadelphia is where I lived. And so you had sidewalks, and there was like curbs and stuff. And we had our exhibit on a little fence, that had a cap on it in the jars, and we charged our parents 25 cents in 1968 was a lot of money, right? You could get 25 like Twizzle sugar sticks at the 7-Eleven. So,
Yum.
so we were, charging our parents, and mandatory, they had to come, right? It wasn't like you couldn't come. We're having a science fair on Saturday. Everybody's coming, went door to door. We collected the money, and they lined up and they went through.
Yep.
So like, I don't know where we got that, probably from putting money in the basket at church on Sundays and talking about where the money went.
I love
But
it.
for women in particular, who usually give up that power, of not only earning their own money, but controlling their own money, understanding their own money. It's really important to know how to do that. If they don't know, they have to hire somebody.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you got certified in that, because it's a natural, it's a natural offering that you can give for people that are particularly creating their businesses, and trying to pull themselves together. Talk about declutter. Like one of the declutter is like when you have all those coupons, and if you spend the coupons, now you spent the money and you did get the discount. Imagine if you didn't use the coupon, now you saved 100%.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like being able to think about money and abundance that way. I love the phrase, and you talk about this in your book. In fact, you start talking about money about this, where you say gratitude. It's gratitude that creates abundance. And it is what allows you to change from an orientation of lack to an orientation of abundance, and then dig deep on how to create your cash flow. And then you give a variety of ways, like over the pandemic, one of the things that I did is what you suggested in your book: empty every single closet and drawer and shelf and see what you can turn into cash.
Exactly.
I made $4,000.
We're sitting on mountains of cash. Yes.
I made $4,000 on eBay selling stuff that I would have probably threw in the trash or maybe dumped off at Goodwill or something. I thought, maybe somebody will want to buy this.
Yep.
And I got time now, right? I'm not going anywhere. I had to contract my in-person, and all that stuff like everybody.
Yep.
Now it's funny because now I don't open a drawer without looking at stuff and thinking, how much I could get for that on eBay? Do I really need that? When was the last time I used that?
Exactly. I love it. But a couple of books that I recommend for people to read are Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Great book. Smart Women Finish Rich. And then also Start Late, Finish Rich. And anything by Dave Ramsey. Now, Dave Ramsey, I disagree with him on a couple points, but he has some really solid advice, but just start educating yourself. I mean, that is a 1 degree shift that you can make around money. If you think, I just don't know, start educating yourself. And it is scary because money is this big elusive thing. It can be this big elusive thing. So start just listening to podcasts about it. Start reading a book. Start getting comfortable with your money or lack thereof, and start digging into your accounts and look at what you have. But it all starts with the identification of, I don't know what I'm doing, and then be like, okay, who in my realm does know what they're doing? You can ask them, or you can say, what is the top book on how to learn how to budget or how to work with money or whatever, and just Google. Like, Google is your best friend, you guys. Oh my goodness. But just start educating yourself. And education is power. And when you feel like you're not good with money, you're probably not, but that's probably not your fault either, because you probably weren't taught. So start teaching yourself, literally dig into those books. And it might be really uncomfortable, but I promise you, as you learn, you're going to grow and you're going to start to think about money differently. Oh, another book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Oh, that is my all-time favorite book about money. The Richest Man in Babylon. I recommend the Audible version of it because it's the narrator is just epic. He is so epic. But yes, The Richest Man in Babylon. That hands down is my favorite book about money. Oh, it's so good.
Well, that was good advice and a lot of resources right there on that one. I'm always a little nervous right before I hit that button, aren't you?
Oh, you're a little pixelated, or you started.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. I'm glad
up.
you told me that because you know why? Let me turn my Wi-Fi off. I see your
Oh, I think you're back.
Okay. Did you hear what I said? I had to turn off my Wi-Fi because I'm connected to both the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet, and sometimes that happens. And it could be our energy,
I know.